Okay guys, HowToTruckDriver101.com. Today's another book review. Let's talk about The Quants by Scott Patterson. The Quants is a book that's basically about quants. Quants are guys who work in Wall Street, who build computers basically, and they use statistics and complicated math equations to predict where the money is flowing and find little tricks or shortcuts to get a lot of the wealth, and by making quick and fast trades using computers. It's really great. It's a great book. Explains very in-depthly about quants. Starts out with a guy named Ed Thorpe. Ed Thorpe basically wrote a book called Beat the Dealer, and he was one of the first kind of big famous quants. I've seen he was. They did a little story about him in I think American Greed or something. Because he started out, he created a good system that could beat a blackjack dealer, and of course back then this is like the 70s, 60s, so of course the mob showed up and wanted to see this guy do his thing. Basically he ended up in a lot of situations, a little situation because of that. It doesn't cover much of that. After that though, it does cover his hedge fund, and I also want to say the quants give the best definition ever for a hedge fund, a shorted stock, and also arbitrage and stat arm or statistical arbitrage, and it's just it's to explain it would be like explaining a million and one things. The only thing I didn't like about the book was it does try to blame the quants too much for the collapse of Wall Street, because a lot of times when they create these trades, the computers go out and they buy a lot of stock, and when things collapse, they can't short the stock. In other words, find a sucker to take the stock and then make a profit. So they end up unwinding the deals, and they keep trying to say, well, those unwinds are what caused the stock market to fail. That's a little stretch. The book is great. The definitions are great in it. It'll definitely take you through. It's at four basic main characters, and then just several characters in the beginning to kind of show you the flow of where it all started and how it all began. I think it's a great book. I definitely recommend it, and it's pretty long, so it takes up a lot of time. I'm always trying to find something interesting, and it takes up some good time, so I recommend it. The Quants by Scott Patterson. And let's move on to the next one. The End of Wall Street by Roger Lowenstein. Basically, The End of Wall Street is one of the most boring books I've ever read in my life. It is long, super long, but boy, it will almost put you to sleep. I believe it's read by one of the guys from Food Network or something, but it is very, very, very boring. Would not recommend this book. I got through it because I was interested. It does go in depth about the bonuses that were paid, how the collapse kind of happened, and also about the structure of the collapse and why we had to bail the banks out, and the reason. It really explains, like, there was a ripple effect when Lehman Brothers fell that hit hedge funds. I mean, not hedge funds, but mutual funds. And those mutual funds had retirement accounts in them. And the government was very worried that if they kept doing that if they let another big bank fall, that could end up collapsing. But it really goes in depth in that, and all the bonuses and everything else. But I would not recommend it. It's a very boring book unless you have a genuine interest in Wall Street. The next book I am going to go over, again, you notice these are all quick fires. I just tell you, hey, they're good. Check them out. I'm not going to give you a crap load of information. You're going to judge it yourself. Even if I say it's good, you might think it's horrible. Rigged by Ben Mesrich. Rigged is a great book. It's about a young Italian guy. I can't remember his name right now, but basically he ends up going to school with this Italian kind of NAACP group, and he gets out and he meets a very powerful Italian guy. He hooks him up with a job with his firm, well, not his firm, but as a mercantile regulator. And the mercantile exchange is an oil exchange that holds, billions and billions of dollars, but is a very small exchange. The mercantile exchange is basically, the rigged is really about how the mercantile exchange expanded its power over into Dubai. And it really talks about kind of the view of the Middle East for a lot of people who didn't know about Middle East, the Middle East, back in after 9/11, and then kind of the view of this guy as he became more educated about the Middle East. And then it's got kind of a James Bond kind of feel as him and a young Arab guy kind of battle these old guys who don't want to do business in Dubai. And it's a good adventure kind of book. It's a financial kind of adventure. It doesn't dwell too much into that, but it's the characters are definitely relatable. You can relate to them, and they're intelligent guys. I would definitely recommend Rigged. It's a good book. The gist of it again is, once they start the mercantile exchange in Dubai, which they actually don't start at the end of the book. It's kind of like they lead up to it, because it takes years and years and years of creating something like that. But it also talks about Dubai and how it's not really an oil nation, but they made it into this giant amusement park, and how the people live there, and how it's kind of party after party. So you check it out, The Rigged. And those are the audio books I'm talking about this week, guys. Oh, I am so insane. Let's talk about the spiritual teachings of Mr. Seneca. This is by Mark Forster and Victoria. Let me see if I can get Victoria's name. No, I cannot see the rest of Victoria's name. Victoria's name. Yeah. Victoria Randon. And basically, Seneca was this ancient kind of guy back in the day who came up with all these little kind of ideas of philosophy. And it's very good. I like it. Just check it out. It's not really a story type of book, but its philosophy is about money and cash and things that are very true today. And it really deals with the fears and the craziness of money. So check that out. Seneca. It's a quick read. It's not very long. It's only about 2 hours or 3 hours at the most. So that is it. Those are the audio books I recommend and don't recommend. So I hope you guys like them. And again, this is a quick review, and it's a quick review. I'm not giving you the entire synopsis of the books. I just give you the beginning, kind of how they go along, and you can check them out if that's your kind of book. The new books I'm going to read, guys, I'm going to check out. I'm just looking at my computer here. I'm going to check out Thinking Big, The Magic of Thinking Big. I'm going to check out Jeff Dunham's book. And I think I'm going to check out SEAL Team 6. So, about the guys who killed Osama bin Laden. So, I'll let you know how those books go, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.